Now, next concept is invertible functions. A function f from a to b is said to be invertible if there exists a function g b to a such that g of f is equals to ia and f of g is equals to ib. Ia is identity functions of a and b is identity function of b. Prove that if f from a to b and g from b to c are invertible if and only if g of f is equals to a to c is an invertible function and g of f inverse is f inverse of g inverse. Since f and g are invertible functions, they are bijective 1 1 onto. G of f is both 1 1 and onto. G of f is invertible. So the inverse of f is given as a function from b to a, and the inverse g inverse of g is a function from c to b. So h equals to f inverse of g inverse, then h is a function from c to a. So consider the g of f of h equals to g of f of h is nothing but f inverse of g inverse. So we will have this as g f of f inverse of g inverse. This is f of f inverse will be ib, g of ib of g inverse, that will be equal to g of g inverse, that is equals to ic. Then h of g of f equals to f inverse of g inverse of g of f, that is equal to f inverse of g inverse of g of f. G inverse of g becomes ib. Then f inverse of f becomes ia, ib and ic. This shows that h is inverse of g of f. That is h equals to g of f whole inverse. G of f whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. Consider the functions f and g from R to R defined by f of x equals to 2x plus 5 and g of x equals to 1 by 2 of x minus 5. Prove that g is inverse of f. Prove that g is inverse of f. So let us consider f of g of x, that is equals to f of x minus 5 by 2, f of x minus 5 by 2, then you will have 2 into x minus 5 by 2 plus 5, 2 get cancelled, x minus 5 plus 5, that is equal to x, and g of f, that is equal to g of f of x equals to g of 2x plus 5 by 2, 2x plus 5 minus 5, plus 5 minus 5 get cancelled, 1 by 2 into 2x, 2 get cancelled, then remaining is x. Since f of g is equal to g of f and g are invertible, g is inverse of f. Let f be the relation from R to R, function from R to R, and g from R to R be defined by f of a equals to 2a plus 1, g of b equals to 1 by 3b. So we have g of f. Verify that g of f whole inverse equals to f inverse of g inverse. Then g of f whole inverse, g of f of a. What is f of a? 2a plus 1, g of 2a plus 1. What is g? 1 by 3b. So 1 by 3 into 2a plus 1. So then f inverse of a. What is a here? F inverse of a is taken as, let us consider a equals to 2a plus 1. we will have that as a minus 1 to a minus 1 by 2. That is F inverse. A minus 1 by 2 is F inverse. Then for G inverse, it is, let us take B equals to 1 by 3B. 3B equals to B. That B is G inverse. Then we will have that F inverse of A is A minus 1 by 2 and G inverse of B is 3B. LHS, well considered. G of F is, G of F we have got as 1 by 3 into 2A plus 1. G of F of A, that one. So since there is 2A, we will consider G of S as A. Then 3A minus 1 by 2, that will become A. So that is nothing but G of F of whole inverse 3A minus 1 by 2. G of F whole inverse equals to 3A minus 1 by 2. Then RHS is equals to F inverse of G inverse. F inverse of G inverse of A. So F inverse of G inverse of A is equals to 3A. Then F inverse of 3A is 3A minus 2 minus 1 by 2. LHS is equals to RHS. Then using the pigeonhole principle, find the minimum number of persons chosen so that at least 5 of them will have their birthday in the same month. Let n required number of birthdays are distributed in 12 months. And that is minimum number of person chosen so that at least 5 of them will have the birthday in the same month. So let n required number of birthdays are distributed in 12 months. N pigeons, 12 pigeonholes. So n minus 1 by 12 plus 1 equals to 5. They have already given the option, at least 5 of them will have their birthdays in the same month. So n minus 1 by m plus 1 equals to 5. So the plus 1 goes this side, that becomes 4. N minus 1 by 12 is 4. Then n minus 1 equals to 48. Then n equals to 49. 49 is the minimum number of person chosen so that at least 5 of them will have their birthdays in the same month. Then 6 books of each physics, chemistry, math and 4 books of bio totally contains 1 to 2 to 5 pages. Find the least number of pages containing, what is that, 100 book. So total number of books, 6 books of each physics, chemistry, math means 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4 equals to 22. Then the average number of book pages per book totally contains 1225 pages. 12225. Find the least number of pages. The average number of pages is 1225 by 22 equals to 556. 556 into 22 is 12232. That's why it is nearly 556, the average number of pages. Then prove that if any 5 numbers 1 to 8 are chosen, then 2 of them will have their sum as 9. A1 equals to 1 comma 8, A2 equals to 2 comma 7 till A4 equals to 4 comma 5. When A3 equals to 3 comma 6, there are only possible way from 1 to 8 which sum up with 9. Otherwise, if we choose 5 numbers, 2 of them will belong to one of the above sets by pigeonhole principle. watching. Do like, share, and subscribe to my channel.